Alfie Garrett starts on pole position with Ralph Martin alongside Ansel Murray and Oakley Riggs on row number 2. Sydney Nell and Harley Bradbury Stretton on row number 3. Then it's Elijah Sang and Junior Wright, Max Joy and Heath Smith with Oscar Maskell and Ava Garrett on row number 6. Row 7 sees JJ Williams and Jude Taylor, Hadley Jarvis and Arthur Bath on row 8 with Henry Ward on row number 9. That is your 17 runners then for our MightE Bambino class. Track is clear, so we're just waiting. Well, it's not actually, because we've got William Crombie's number 15 Miami Bambino being pushed off the circuit up there, and we're going to then have our MightE Bambinos out onto the track for us here, with Alfie Garrett on pole position. There he is in the 42 machine, and we'll have Ansel Murray right behind in 3rd place. Making our way down the grid here then of our MightE Bambinos. There's the 31 of Oakley Riggs. So we await them getting the green flag to be sent out on their way. We see the 5 in the background there. That is Max Joy. Alongside him to the left is Elijah Sang, number 88. He's one of our drivers that will be following throughout this year, behind the scenes and on track as well, as part of the Driven Dreams docu-series. Just going to have a quick look at the live chat comments to see who has been in touch. So we've had Catherine Potter on, just saying good luck to all the juniors. Well, they've been out and that was won by Ollie Naylor. We've had a good luck for Callum Foster from Sunbather, and brilliant drive Sam from Tim Winters. I'm guessing that will be Sam Stoner, who moved up into 3rd place towards the end of our junior Rotax final. MightE Bambinos then being sent out onto track for their 12-minute plus 1 lap final. And their parent helpers making their way down the grid to get them into position. Starting to look somewhat, a little bit overcast here at Warden Law. Don't think we've got any. Don't think we've got any rain forecast. I will have a quick look at the minute cast and see what we're likely to get. It is showing a little bit of drizzle, maybe at around about 4:10. But at the moment, it is only 10 to 3. So hopefully we can get through our race day here at Warden Law. The final race of the day is scheduled to be at 4:10, so that'll be for a mini max. That's going to put a an interesting spin on things. So the camera operatives that we've got out there on track are reporting the odd raindrop, and they are. I don't think we've provided them with Alpha Live spec umbrellas, so they're just going to have to grin and bear it, unfortunately, out there at the moment. So Albert Farah on the left, well, Alfie Garrett, sorry, on the left in the 42. The 32 on the right, Ralph Martin. That's your front row. Grid being cleared then of parent helpers. And we should be good to go when our final helper is off the track. Looks like we're just sorting ourselves nicely single file through the gap in the pit wall. 5-second board will be shown in a few moments' time. We'll see the man turn it round. There we go. And they will look up towards the lights on the overhead gantry here then for our MightE Bambinos. We are away and racing. It's a good start from Ralph Martin on the outside of the front row. Has he got enough to sweep round the outside? Has a few looks to the right to make sure he's got the gap to turn into. He doesn't, and Ansel Murray will come through, in fact, into second place, and Ralph Martin gets a little bit of snap oversteer in the middle of the corner. Ansel Murray then up into second, with Alfie Garrett leading the way as the field make their way round the dogleg section. There's a big sweep round the outside there by the 10 of Hadley Jarvis. Makes a good move on the 44 of Ava Garrett all the way round the outside as they head down towards Senna 1. Ansel Murray then leading from the 42 of Alfie Garrett. He's managed to find a way through into the back chicane. They go 12 minutes plus 1 lap for our MightE Bambinos. Got a spin in the middle of the field down at post 4. Don't know who it is, but there's a light on down there, so unless they get that cleared, that's a overtaking opportunity gone. That's the 38 machine. That's Henry Ward on the grass, being helped out by the marshals here at Warden Law to get back on the track. As the leaders make their way over start-finish in this MightE Bambino final here in the Kart Championship, sponsored by the Junior Saloon Car Championship in association with KKC, Optimum Motorsport, Fibre King and Circuit Watchers. Into the right-hander then of the dog leg as they bounce over the curbs. Ansel Murray continuing to lead the way from Alfie Garrett. Then it's the 32 of Ralph Martin, the 31 of Oakley Riggs, sticking with the leaders this time as Garrett takes a huge chunk of curb on the inside of that corner. That's going to slow him down ever so slightly, but seems to have maintained the momentum, which is unlike these Bambino karts. Once they hit the curbs, it lifts them up. It does unstable them a fair bit, but Garrett sticking with Ansel Murray. The gap 2.5 tenths as they went over the line on the previous lap. Takes a tighter line. Will he try and get the cut back on Murray as they come through and round the horseshoe? 3 left-handers followed by the tight right of Paddock Bend. Garrett takes the tighter line round that corner. Has he scrubbed off too much speed? Has to slot straight back in the slipstream behind Ansel Murray. Behind them, Ralph Martin sets the fastest lap of the race with a 1:08.5. And now it's Ansel Murray's turn to bounce over the curbs as Alfie Garrett takes a smoother line, trying to maintain the momentum as they make their way down the back straight. Some lap traffic in front. That's the 38 of Henry Ward, who had that spin earlier on. Is the first driver that our leaders encounter. The top 4 then with Oakley Riggs sticking with Murray, Garrett and Martin in front. Out onto this back straight, which is just a big long sweeping curve towards the downhill right-hander of Gasworks. Through they go with Ansel Murray once again taking the wider line, Garrett taking the tighter one. Doesn't seem to favour either one of them, although in the middle part of the corner Alfie Garrett closes up, takes a tighter line on the way in. Can he get the momentum running out? I think it's actually going to play into the hands of Ralph Martin. Behind us, Oakley Riggs sets the fastest lap in third place. Down the inside comes Alfie Garrett, using the slipstream to find a way past Ansel Murray at the end of the straight. Made the move very, very late to the inside, but makes it through. So Alfie Garrett will lead. More lap traffic in front. Arthur Bath, as they come up towards the left-hander at St. John's, sweeping all the way round the outside, bouncing over the curbs. Oakley Riggs there in the background with his name on the back of his race suit in fourth place, closing up as well, having set the fastest lap. The top 4 split by only 0.8 of a second. Now it's Garrett at the front, in front of Ansel Murray, looking to break away from the rest of the pack behind. Murray bouncing over the curbs, half a second or so between the 2 race leaders. Into the right-hander, lap traffic in front as they make their way past the 15 of Oscar Masquel, who moves out of the way and allows the leading quartet to make their way round the horseshoe. Into the right-hander. Still over half of this race to go here. 7 minutes and 20 seconds plus 1 lap. Garrett leading by 1/10 of a second. This time it's Ansel Murray's turn to pull out of the slipstream at the end of the straight and returns the favour. And he's back into the lead. Murray then leading from Alfie Garrett into the right-hander. And then Garrett makes a slight mistake, runs wide, bouncing over the rumble strip on the outside. Doesn't lose too much time, though, by using the extra part of the track on the outside. The 17 of Jude Taylor in front as the leading two make their way through. Ralph Martin tried to make the move down the inside, ended up having to make a double steering adjustment and loses a little bit of time. The two leaders, though, Ansel Murray and Alfie Garrett. As now Ansel Murray goes across the curb and a little bit of grass as well as they split either side of Ava Garrett into the right-hander. And then there's contact into the back. Alfie Garrett runs into the back of Ansel Murray and spins himself out of second place. Ansel Murray will have a clear gap now at the front, in front of Oakley Riggs and Ralph Martin. Here's a replay of the action. Garrett carries too much speed into the back. Then the kart goes light as he makes contact. And that allows Oakley Riggs as well to take advantage. He had more time to react, and he sweeps down the inside and through up into second place. Can Garrett close back in now? A gap that is somewhere in the region of 4.2 seconds onto the battle in front of him. Bouncing through the St. John's, through the dogleg complex at St. John's. The gap for the lead, though, is 1.4 seconds for Ansel Murray. Round the centre one hairpin in the background there, you saw Alfie Garrett trying to close back in and make amends for that mistake down at the Gasworks hairpin. Can he get back up into the top three? Over the curbs they go as they head down this back straight. Still around about half this race to go with 5.5 minutes plus 1 lap as we await. There is the 42 of Alfie Garrett. Needs to be plumbing in fastest lap after fastest lap now to close back in as Elijah Sang and Sydney Nell battle it out over 5th place. It's Nell in the box seat at the moment. Behind them, Harley Bradbury Stretton. So 3 karts split by half a second or so as they make their way round Gasworks. That's 5th, 6th and 7th respectively. As the field make their way, and then the 3 of Nell goes slightly wide. That's going to allow Elijah Sang to get into the slipstream in the background with Bradbury Stretton considering a move down the inside as well, having come off the racing line. Lap traffic in front. They're going to try and sweep through round the outside there and then down the inside into the right-hander. That's going to allow Nell to open up a bit of a gap because Elijah Sang going to get balked in there, and that has opened up a gap. Can Bradbury Stretton take advantage and move right onto the back of Elijah Sang into the right-hander, although Sang seems to have carried more pace around the corner. Nell, though, the one to take advantage there in the first sector alone, was nearly a second quicker than Elijah Sang as he managed to navigate that lap traffic cleanly. 3 minutes and 50 seconds to go. Still more traffic in front as they come up to the 17 of Jude Taylor. They're going to split and go either side. Nell all the way around the outside. That's going to allow Elijah Sang to come back down the inside. So from a second back, and then the 17 has a spin. Jude Taylor down there as Harley Bradbury Stretton. Big look over the shoulder as they make their way through. Garrett keeping an eye on the gap to those in front of Alfie Garrett now, as he tries to close back up on the previous lap, 7/10 quicker in 4th place than Ralph Martin in front. Elijah Sang now in front then of Sydney Nell as they head into the right-hander for turn 1. Then the left of Brian's Bend before this double right of the dog leg. So they bounce their way through there, and they really do have to attack that curb on the inside. Move down the inside on Oakley Riggs by Ralph Martin for 2nd place. And behind them, Alfie Garrett. Not out of this one yet in terms of getting himself into the top 3. Ansel Murray comfortable out at the front now with a 3.1 second gap. Now it's Ralph Martin. The gap is out to 4.9 as Martin and Riggs were battling it out on that previous lap. That's going to allow Alfie Garrett to close back up as well. 2.5 minutes plus 1 lap remaining. The leader, Ansel Murray, your reigning champion, looking to start the season well with victory in this first round here at Warden Law. Ralph Martin, Oakley Riggs, Alfie Garrett, your top 3. So they're battling out for 2nd, 3rd and 4th respectively. Then there's a big gap back to Elijah Sang, but he's busy in a battle with Sydney Nell and Harley Bradbury Stretton for 5th, 6th and 7th respectively. into the right-hander of the entry into the back chicane. 2 minutes remaining, and Alfie Garrett now is right on the back of Oakley Riggs as they head down towards Gasworks, closes in. A little bit of a nudge into the back there, didn't do either of them any harm. Oakley Riggs now very aware that Alfie Garrett is with him, and wide goes Ralph Martin. That's going to allow Oakley Riggs back through into second place. Lap traffic, Riggs could get boxed in here, he doesn't. They split either side of the 15 of Oscar Maskell as they go down the start-finish straight. And Oakley Riggs is back up into second place. Martin in third, Garrett in fourth. Still nose to tail, just not in the order they were on the previous lap. Oakley Riggs managing to take advantage of Ralph Martin going wide through the horseshoe. More traffic in front of them as they head up towards the left-hander at St. John's. Dives down the inside of the 18. And there, Ralph Martin gets boxed in behind Heath Smith. And that's going to allow Garrett to come back through. Martin back down the inside with a robust move. And right the way around the outside, we've got Oakley Riggs on the grass. The top three chopping and changing. Riggs bouncing over the grass. That's allowed Ralph Martin to come through into what looks a very comfortable second at the moment, because I think these two are going to battle it out. Garrett with a push into the back of the 31 of Oakley Riggs. Just wants him to go forward to battle it out for second place with Ralph Martin. 40 seconds remaining. The leader will get round before the time elapses. Murray now with a comfortable, it was a comfortable gap before of 4.9, but looks like he's had a problem. We've got more drivers there bouncing over the curbs. This time it's Ralph Martin, unable to negotiate the traffic. Oakley Riggs down the inside. Garrett's pushed him all the way through into second place, and now he's coming through for second place himself. Riggs goes wide, round turn one. Ralph Martin back through into third place. Garrett then up into second. Great move by Garrett. He initially pushed Oakley Riggs through into second place with a nice little bump draft down start finish, and then moved out of the slipstream at the end of the straight as well to move through into second place himself. There's still nose to tail though, making their way through the traffic, but it's now Garrett in front of the 32 of Ralph Martin, then Oakley Riggs in fourth place. Behind them still Elijah Sang and Sidney Nell battling out for a position inside the top five. Sang holding off Nell by around about half a second with a similar gap back then to Harley Bradbury Stretton. Time has elapsed. Your race leader, Ansel Murray, making his way round the horseshoe. We'll see the last lap on the overhead gantry next time round. Ralph Martin trying to get the cut back down the inside of Garrett. Garrett closing the door. Last lap on the overhead has been taken then by Ansel Murray, your race leader, with a gap of 3.4 seconds to Alfie Garrett. The gap then now, in fact, out to 4 seconds as these three battle it out for second place. And Ralph Martin tries to go down the inside. Has the door robustly closed on him by Alfie Garrett. Garrett has opened up that gap even more than now because Martin had to back out. Oakley Riggs still has eyes on third place into the left-hander at St. John's. Then it's the run down the middle straight towards the left-hander, Senna 1. In front of the Ansel Murray, gap of 4 seconds. Looks like he's on his way to victory here at the first round at the Kart Championship in the MightE Bambino class. Still more traffic in front for our battle for second, third and fourth to negotiate. Round the outside goes Alfie Garrett. Ralph Martin's going to do the same as they head down towards the right-hander. Oakley Riggs is through as well, but Riggs is going to have to settle for fourth because he's not close enough. Out of the final complex of corners, though, will come Ansel Murray. Your 2022 champion starts 2023 in the same form. Takes victory in MightE Bambino from Alfie Garrett at the line. He's got a run with Ralph Martin and holds him off by just over a tenth from Oakley Riggs then in fourth place. We've got a battle going on some 40 seconds further down the road still with Elijah Sang and Sidney Nell for 5th and 6th respectively. And we've got drivers off down there. That's the 11 and the 44. Junior Wright and Ava Garrett, 11th and 13th respectively, down there at the Gasworks hairpin. So they still make their way. We're still waiting for Elijah Sang to come through in 5th place. Keep an eye out as some of the other runners come through. 17, Jude Taylor there. Here's the 15 coming over the line. That's Oscar Maskell in the background. That is Elijah Sang for 5th place in front of Harley Bradbury Stretton. Sidney Nell, who was up there in 6th place. We await him to come through. He's very, very disappointed. He's going to take 7th place, but could have been a little bit more for the driver in the 3 The final two runners that haven't yet to take the checkered flag, Max Joy and Hadley Jarvis, come through to take the checkered flag. MightE Bambino complete then with your 2022 champion Ansel Murray taking the checkered flag and the win here at round number 1.